The first is Mr. Do not get confused. Mr. Halley Young. Deliver the class address.
It's truly great to see you all here today. My name is Halley Young, and for the past 3 years, I've had the great pleasure to serve as one of the class representatives, right alongside my partner in crime, Abube, who is sitting beside me today. On behalf of the class of 2026, we would like to welcome all family, friends, alumni, faculty, and distinguished guests, both present here today and listening through our live stream, to the CUNY School of Medicine and the 2022 White Coat Ceremony. Now, this year we are fortunate enough to have an in-person event, but had this been happening a year or two ago, we likely all would have been at home, stuck behind our computer screens, celebrating, wearing our caps and gowns, or white coats on top, just enough for our webcams to see, and with our pajama pants and boxers down below, hidden below the desk. Maybe even less for some of you. In all seriousness, our already condensed and accelerated undergraduate program was further shortened by the pandemic. Collectively, we missed out on almost 2 full years of student life. And instead, the majority of us were stuck at home taking classes and exams from our beds. I mean, guys, come on. We know that it's just not good sleep hygiene to stay in bed. We learned from our practice of medicine course, our prom course, that the only 2 things the bed should be used for are sleep and the funny business. Anyhow, before I said that the majority of us were stuck inside, but not all of us. And that's because I think it's important to acknowledge those of us who are unable to complete our responsibilities from online. Of course, I'm referring to the healthcare personnel, those that worked on the front line, essential workers, even some of my very own classmates. And I would only imagine that there are many of you here today. So for these individuals and their outstanding courage and bravery during a time of uncertainty, the least we can do is have a round of applause. And while the pandemic is near its latter stages, many of the events that receive special news coverage throughout the pandemic still plague our societies. I'm of course referring to the countless and unfounded acts of violence, injustice, prejudice, and oppression seen across the communities that we live in. The hate crimes and stigma held against all minority groups by those who have been misguided by non-evidence-based conclusions. I think these are just examples of how much more work needs to be done at the community-wide level. And as future physicians, we should never underestimate the weight of our opinion in these matters. The famous American surgeon and public health researcher, Dr. Atul Gawande, once said, and I'm paraphrasing, that on the surface, our job in medicine is to ensure the health and survival of our patients. But it is really larger than that. It is also to enable well-being, and to find ways to promote well-being beyond our patients. Throughout undergraduate, there have been many instances where we've worn white coats. Hospital and clinical experiences, labs and research alike. So that's why today isn't really about the coat itself, but more so what the coat represents. Today we swear an oath, a promise to patients and the community at large that we must devote our lives to honoring. As seen by the public eye, a position held to a higher trust and ethical standard because of the responsibility we bear and the impact that we can have. So, to be a physician is to live a life of responsibility, as we all know. So as we are in this space, continuing our journey to physicianhood, these are part of the reasons why we gather here today. So now, before a white coat for you, and a white coat for you, and a white coat for all of us, it's only fitting that we continue to acknowledge and appreciate those that got us to where we are today. So for myself, I want to personally thank my sister for always keeping me motivated, and my parents who taught me to never settle for anything less than excellence. You know, I still remember the day when my dad brought me to preschool on my first day of school almost 16 years ago. And when my mom held my hand to cross the street and told me to look both ways, which was this morning. But again, remember to appreciate your parents and loved ones who have supported you in more ways than you could imagine. The friends who, through thick and thin, have always had your back. The faculty and mentors who have guided you. The physicians who you've shadowed and learned hands-on experiences from. The patients who you've listened to and whose stories have left you inspired. And the person on the street who paid you a friendly compliment that got you through the rest of your day. And all the other unnamed people who work to build the communities who have shaped you into who you are today. We owe it to all of them. Although parents out there, don't let your guard down yet. We might still need your help for a couple more years, maybe decades, who knows. Anyhow, my fellow graduates, as we venture into a new chapter of our lives, many of you, myself included, may be feeling worried, eager, uncertain, excited, maybe even a mixture of those emotions. Thinking about what lies ahead for us in the coming years, we will definitely face obstacles that we can surpass, and there will definitely be obstacles where they may seem insurmountable. And being part of a more recently accredited medical institution, I can almost guarantee that we will have many firsts and successes among us, paralleled with uncertainties and confusions. So with that, I leave you with this. Have courage as you stumble forward into the unknown. And have faith that everything you do today, everything that you do now, will eventually lead you to achieving your dreams. Be the pioneer to your own future. Class of 2026, congratulations. Thank you.
À la claire fontaine m'en allant promener, j'ai trouvé l'eau si belle que je m'y suis baignée.
Il y a longtemps que je t'aime, jamais je ne t'oublierai.
Sous les feuilles d'un chêne, je me suis fait sécher. Sur la plus haute branche, un rossignol chantait.
Il y a longtemps que je t'aime, jamais